M4 MacBook Air review. It is highly obvious that Apple has once more taken its ground back with the Mac line, and the new M4 MacBook Air is a strong proof of this truth. In the wake of its outstandingly praised M4 Mac Mini, which was generally considered one of the best value tech products of 2024, the M4 MacBook Air appears not merely as a natural follow-up, but also as a machine that has been carefully crafted to solidify Apple's leadership in the domain of ultra-portable laptops. At first glance, the changes might seem quite minor. However, taken in total, they represent a substantial evolution of a laptop that has heretofore been one of the most affordable and highly recommended of those currently on sale. It will not surprise to learn that the M4 chip is at the heart of this announcement. Both the efficiency and performance of the MacBook Air are greatly enhanced because of this processor, which has already proven itself to be efficient on the iPad Pro and the Mac Mini back in the first half of the year. The chip can provide top-notch performance for the type of burst-intensive workloads most MacBook Air users will subject it to, like multitasking between tabs, running creative applications every so often, or diving into short periods of editing. This even though it's passively cooled and features no internal fan. What is really impressive is the amount of work that this ridiculously small machine can get done without even sweating. Despite the fact that it cannot keep up with the long-term performance of its actively cooled desktop counterparts, it is perfectly sufficient for the overwhelming majority of users and is often able to handle tasks previously left up to the Pro models. A boost in the level of base memory is among the most important and friendly changes that have been added this time. It is the very first time that the base model MacBook Air has been sent out with 16 gigabytes of unified memory. This change has greatly enhanced the performance of the device as a function of multitasking and delivering a more responsive experience as a whole. This is not just a rise in specs. Instead, it is a response to how modern programs consume resources, especially given the fact that additional AI-based features and background tasks are becoming the norm. Adding this RAM upgrade, along with the robust neural engine found on the M4, which offers considerable improvement to processes associated with artificial intelligence, ensures that the machine will not break under stress when used on a day-to-day basis. Whether it is editing a large image file, running a video conference, or jumping between dozens of Safari windows, the new Air remains silky smooth and responsive to all these tasks. Some slight but noticeable changes have also been made to the MacBook Air's physical design. There has been a very small boost to the battery capacity, from 52.6 watt-hours to 53.8 watt-hours, which leads to a minor improvement in the battery lifespan. This is the type of update that most customers would not even see on a day-to-day basis, but shows Apple's commitment to doing things incrementally right. In a similar vein, the webcam has been upgraded to a 12-megapixel sensor that is compatible with Center Stage, which is a dynamic camera function developed by Apple that helps users remain centered while participating in video chats. Even though not everybody will be utilizing this functionality, it is another innovation that is much prized for a device that will certainly be used for communication more than content creation. The look of the Air is a dramatic follow-through on the direction Apple pursued with the redesign of the M2 in terms of aesthetics. The fanless, clean aluminum body, the MagSafe charging port, 2 USB-C Thunderbolt ports, and even the top notch of the 60Hz LCD display itself are all elements that have been retained with this refresh. To sustain a well-tested formula that has found favor with students, professionals, and casual users alike, the keyboard, speakers, and ergonomics as a whole have all been left intact. The screen is the one piece of hardware that is starting to feel a bit outdated, even though it remains very good by comparison to other hardware. Those with more discerning eyes might feel a pang of disillusionment upon returning to a standard, 60 Hz LCD after years of being used to the lush mini LED displays and promotion refresh rates found on MacBook Pros. To give that some context, the current panel is more than up to serving the Air's target audience, and most users will find it to be bright, vivid enough for general use. Another change is the inclusion of the sky blue color option, though the impact of the change is symbolic rather than practical. Replacing space gray, this color is so blue that it often creates a silver impression in normal lighting conditions. This color is more of a novelty than a selling point, because it is such a quirky and whisper-quiet shade. It is perhaps the price of the new Air that has gained the most notoriety. Since the release of the M2 model, which raised the starting price of the MacBook Air to $1,199, there have been widespread concerns that the MacBook Air is becoming less affordable. Apple has, however, revamped its approach this year by reducing the starting price to $999, while at the same time doubling the amount of base RAM. This combination is not only generous by Apple's typical standards, but it is also prudent from a strategic one. As a result, the Air is once again able to achieve the optimal balance of value and performance that has made it the go-to option for many years. It is, in comparison to most users, and more specifically, those who do not need to deal with large video projects or edit 3D renders, that this specific iteration of the MacBook Air is not only sufficient, but overqualified. This overqualification is also one of the more amusing features of the latest MacBook Air reviews that we can find. The average user is the person who looks at their mail, surfs the net, does video chats, and maybe even plays around some with photo or video editing. This laptop was designed for the average user. Yet now, even the most entry-level model of the Air can do tasks that were previously only done by the MacBook Pro. This isn't because of anything else. It is because Apple Silicon has become so powerful. When you do use Final Cut Pro, you can import multiple streams of 4K and 8K video, scrub over them in real time, and export projects with barely any lag. Most consumers won't be able to do that, but that they were able to do it. Also, Apple seems to be resolving edge case issues in the background, like the absence of support for many external displays with a high-resolution setting. Now, the new MacBook Air can drive two 6K monitors at the same time with the lid open, which wasn't the case with the earlier generation of the MacBook Air. Even though it is a niche use case, it shows Apple's commitment to making even the most minor of its customers' issues better. In spite of all these refinements, Apple still holds back on the functionality that it brings down from the Pro line. Only the MacBook Pro lineup features features like high refresh rate screens, mini LED backlighting, and other professional-grade benefits. Additionally, this is not just understandable, but also rather infuriating. It keeps the Air's attention on point and reduces its complexity without leaving room for anything else. Despite this, it's hard to not see a future where even the Air would see improvements in the use of a more sophisticated screen. Since the battery capacity and the chip efficiency are both in place to help it happen, it may just be a matter of when. For now, the quandary that the buyer is left with is whether you should purchase this new M4 model or the M2 MacBook Air at a discounted rate, which is now available at an attractive price of $799 that is now within reach. Your requirements will decide the solution to a large extent. If you are a user who actually just needs a machine for basic use, the M2 model remains a great option. But if you are in need of a bit more headroom, a longer lifespan, and a much better memory out of the box, the new M4 model is most definitely worth the extra $200 spending. It is possible that the M4 MacBook Air does not have a significantly different appearance, and it does not include any features that are revolutionary. It does it in a manner that is both quiet and self-assured. enhancing what was already one of the greatest computers in its category. It provides a more advanced chip, a greater amount of memory, a longer battery life, and subtle enhancements to the quality of life, all while lowering the price to its most accessible point in years. Despite the fact that there are a lot of sophisticated laptops on the market with bloated specifications and unpredictable performance, the Air continues to be one of the most dependable and clean options available to you. This is the beauty of the MacBook Air in the year 2025. It is dull in the most wonderful way possible, and it is better than it has ever been. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.